How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now, due to the injury to Kane last night in the Champions League, I'm having to make this video a little bit of a second preview for the double game week 34. Due to most of us using our wild cards, most of my drafts in the previous video, so if you haven't viewed that, go check it out. Most of the drafts included Kane, to be honest, so due to him being such a big player in our drafts and him holding so much value, I thought that it was a little bit unfair if I just left you guys with drafts that included him, as it kind of changes our whole perspective on the wildcard week due to him having so much value, as I said. So this video I'm going to run through some admin first, and then we're going to get into some drafts of the potential wildcard teams that you'll be looking at this Friday night. A reminder that the deadline is this Friday night, so don't miss it. First things first is, as you know, you've probably seen that I am in the finals of the Football Blogging Awards. So thanks to those of you who have voted already, I really appreciate it. And if you still want to vote for me, links will be down in the description. That's enough of that, as I've kind of been forcing it on you guys, so sorry for that, but I just wanted to get it out there for those of you who have not yet seen it. The second fact is, please subscribe if you're new or have watched a couple of my videos and haven't really thought about subscribing yet. Please consider doing it. I kind of have some milestones for the end of the season that I want to hit, so I would appreciate if you can help me get to those milestones. And thanks to those of you who have subscribed already. Now we're just going to go through some general tips, as I did go through previously in my preview video, but there's some new ones now. The first thing is, obviously, as we have seen with the Champions League fixtures last night, is please pay attention to them. Not only to the Champions League fixtures, but also to the Europa League. Injuries, game time, and just overall scores, as I said, were very important. And if you're not looking forward to those games in the future, you might be a little bit caught out on rotation and that kind of thing. So please do pay attention. Luckily, I am recording this video after the lineups have been announced for tonight's Champions League fixtures, the Wednesday night, and Man United seem to have all their players recovered from injury in terms of Rashford, Lukaku, Pogba, and Martial. Those are the players that I've kind of seen players, FPL players more specifically, been kind of having in some of their drafts, not too many, but I'm going to be talking more about the Man U players later on in the video. The second point is, please pay attention to the press conferences. Today, Brendan Rodgers has come out and said that Jamie Vardy has recovered from that knock he had against Huddersfield, so that is all set for him to start on the weekend. So it's just those little things that maybe you're considering a player that has been injured, but now he's back. The other thing to maybe consider is Harry Kane. There's no confirmation of how long he's going to be out for. Pochettino came out last night and said that he could be out for quite a while, so it's kind of looking like he will be out for the double game week, but maybe he does come back sooner than we expected. And the third thing is, please do go watch the Game Week 34 preview. I did upload it yesterday, so please go and support that and like and subscribe to that video as well, and preferably do it with ad blocker off. I'm just joking, but it would be appreciated. But yeah, in all seriousness, just go watch it if you haven't. I'll put a link in the description, as well as a card probably on the video right now, so go click on it if you haven't watched it already, as I do go over some important points, especially with setting up your wildcard teams. Maybe the drafts aren't that applicable, but the thinking behind them is. So, and you can also see how I got in blank game week 33. So firstly, I'm going to go over some players that have kind of are consistent in all my drafts. Some of them are placeholders, as I'll go through, but most of them are kind of set. The first one being the double up in goalkeeping of Lloris and Foster. Foster, I spoke about in my preview that his fixtures for the double are just really good, so I definitely want a Watford defender in for that fixture, and he seems to be rotation proof, so I'm going for him. And then Lloris, due to Kane falling out, there aren't that many options for Spurs, so I'm perfectly comfortable with bringing in a defensive option for them. I'm considering Trippier, but I think that he might be rotated for maybe the second game in the double with a player like Walker-Peters. I don't know too much about that rotation if it does happen that often, but definitely Lloris looks set in my team. I just think that those Spurs fixtures are good defensively, including this Game Week 34 fixture against Huddersfield, so we'll be playing him then. Then I have Duffy. Obviously, not much has to be talked about on him. He is kind of a set starter and even captain in most wildcard teams, so we'll probably 100% be having him in my team and might even captain him. Then we have Valerie, who's just the cheap enabler and is pretty much good for FPL as he is quite attacking, as you saw against Liverpool. Comes in at 4.1, allows you to bring in a lot more players, so keeping him. Then I have Robertson, kind of favoring Robertson over Alexander-Arnold just because of the rest he had yesterday. Obviously he was suspended, so he should be coming in with a nice rest for this weekend and for the upcoming fixtures. So if you do need to downgrade Robertson to Alexander-Arnold for funds, that is totally acceptable. I just kind of am a little bit worried about Alexander-Arnold with Gomez coming back. Could definitely see Gomez getting a game if it's not at centre back at that right back position. So maybe some rotation happening there, but I don't think too much. Then we have Sterling being Man City's best player along with Aguero, so he comes in my team. I can't really see any other Man City option besides De Bruyne, but I'll talk about him a little bit later, that I will be bringing in due to I'm not going to be bringing in a player like Sané or David Silva or someone like that. So Sterling looks a set start in my wild card. And then I have the double up of Son and Eriksen. Without Kane, this seems like a no-brainer. Obviously, there could be some rotation, especially with Son, with Spurs winning that game last night against Man City, but you kind of have to go for it. They have a really nice fixture in Gameweek 34, and then they do have the double to back it up. So we'll probably be having Son and Eriksen. Now, Mane, I have him in my team just due to the form, but as I spoke about in the previous video, I don't really mind not having him for the upcoming 2 game weeks, but then I'll be bringing him back for Game Week 36. Mane is a placeholder for potentially De Bruyne as they are a similar price, so I just decided to include him here as I could switch him to De Bruyne easily. Then I have Aguero, who came back from injury last night and played, I think, about 70-80 minutes. I'm not too sure. He did miss a penalty, but I'm not too affected by that. He definitely is the set starter at the centre forward position for Man City, so I probably will be having him in my team. Then Jimenez, obviously he speaks for himself this season. Just a great forward asset. A little bit worried about Wolves. I kind of think that their heads might have dropped a little bit after that FA Cup semi-final loss, but I'm just hoping that he can kind of go on and score more goals after signing that permanent contract for Wolves. Then I have Troy Deeney. I just have Deeney in as those Watford fixtures are really nice. It's either him or Deulofeu, but Deeney seems to be the one that's fit at the moment. And the thing I really like about Deeney is that he always has some fight in him. So he seems to really play for the badge. So I'm happy with having him in my team. The first draft contains the switch from Deeney to Deulofeu, as I was talking about. It makes use of a double up with Dunk in defense for that Brighton double game week in 34. And then I've brought in Cody as kind of a placeholder. You can kind of bring in any player you want around the 4.5 mark, but I just brought in Cody because Wolves do have a very nice double game week, and he is surely starting as the club captain. This draft does make use of Alexander-Arnold from Robertson due to me having to get some funds. The title of this draft would kind of be the forward double up. As you can see, I've gone for Aguero and Aubameyang. The thing that you'll note about Kane being out when you've been making your drafts, as I have, is that you just have so much money to spend, and I don't really know where to spend it. I'm sure you've had the same feeling, and I was not considering Aubameyang at all, but Emery came out today and said that the reason that Aubameyang hasn't played the last 2 games or started them specifically was because he was on painkillers, because he was recovering from some illness. So that to me says that Aubameyang would have started those 2 previous fixtures. So he seems to be a set starter in Emery's team. So hopefully he can continue that form he was in the middle of the season, where he was just banging in goals for fun. So I've opted for Aubameyang. Interesting for me, doesn't really feel right as I wasn't really considering him at all. Now this draft also makes use of De Bruyne, but he can easily be switched out for Eriksen if you want to double up on that Spurs attack. And then I also brought in Jota, as he's just, for his price, he offers really great value, and I can see Wolves getting some nice goals in their upcoming fixtures. The second draft makes use of a Man City defender. Laporte could be rotated. He has not, though. Every time I kind of say that he might be rotated, he never is rotated. So you could always opt for him. A notable change you could make in this team is Robertson to Trent, and then you should have enough money to do Aubameyang to Aguero, so that's also something that you can do. And then I just have money in this team, but obviously you can switch him out for De Bruyne if you so please. Do like this team, as I do actually like having Mane in my squad. I do think that Chelsea at home fixture, I do expect Liverpool to win it. So if you expect Liverpool to win, then you expect them to score, and Mane is a great goal scorer for Liverpool, so could see him getting some points there. This team does look quite solid. I do like it because it's overall quite balanced. Obviously Bennett and Valerie aren't the best, but they are two playing cheap enablers, so not too worried about them in terms of rotation. But as I said, this team's quite nice overall from defense, midfield, and attack. Then the third draft is, it's kind of a little bit of a differential pick. I've opted for Firmino in this draft, and then I've gone for a very stacked midfield, as you can see. Reason I brought Firmino in is that he's been on some very nice form recently, and against the top 6 teams, he always seems to sneak a goal in or an assist or get some sort of return. Alexander-Arnold also comes in for Robertson, as I said earlier, as I need some money. And then I've brought in Bolly as I had enough money to upgrade Cody to him. Nice thing about this is the stacked midfield, as I said. Only disadvantage is you kind of don't have that Man City attacker in terms of a centre forward position. But if you're kind of expecting Jesus and Aguero to be rotated, this could be the perfect draft for you. Now the last draft that I'm going to go over is kind of the one that I'm swaying towards. The notable omission is the lack of Liverpool attack, but I think that is covered by a double game week player. I just think over those 2 game weeks, Cardiff away, as I said, I would probably opt for Mane as my Liverpool attacker, and his away form is not the best with attacking returns, so don't mind not having him for that fixture, but I will 100% be bringing him in for a game week 36 triple captain punt. The nice thing about this team is that I can easily monitor who is kind of the Liverpool on form player before I bring them in. So if Salah ends up having a worldy like 2 game weeks, game week 34 and 35, I can easily bring him in with a downgrade, as I'll have 2 free transfers before then. So that's what I'm saying. This team gives me a nice monitor of time before I use my triple captain chip. Another addition is Kolasinac. Coming in at 5 mil, he's not going to give you many defensive returns, but attacking wise he seems to be quite solid, so you can go on a punt with him and kind of hope for him to get a clean sheet. Striking positions stay the same. As I said, it's a very stacked midfield. Only omission is Mane in this squad. Now I quickly just want to talk about the Man United options, as I don't really see them being spoken about much. Obviously Man United are not in the best form, but as I said, I'm recording this after the lineups have been announced for the Champions League tonight, and both players are back fit. It seems like some websites are stating that Man United are playing a 3 at the back, but some are also saying it's a 4 at the back, so I'm just going to have to watch the game and see how that plays out. But the good thing is that Romelu Lukaku and Rashford are both starting, coming back from injury, so they look good. As I spoke about in my free hit video, Lukaku was highly on my radar and was almost a set start if he was fit, but then there was some doubt over his fitness, so I ended up not opting for him. The good thing about Lukaku is why I favor him over Rashford is he just plays that center forward position and seems to be that main man, and he probably won't be rotated as much as Rashford, as Martial was on the bench tonight, so Martial could come in for Rashford and they could rotate that position. So Lukaku seems to be a less rotated player in that Solskjaer team. The also thing to note is that Man United's fixtures aren't the best coming up, but they do have a nice Everton away fixture. That is not a great fixture in terms of Everton have been much better defensively, but I don't know if you remember when Lukaku scored against Everton, he kind of went mental with the celebration, so seems to love a goal against the former club, so that could be a little bit of a differential pick, as I don't really see many Man United options being in teams, but I definitely am looking at them due to that hole that's been left by Kane. Obviously Lukaku is a very easy switch to do, as he's kind of in the similar price bracket of premium forwards. He just comes in quite a lot cheaper than Kane, and then Rashford comes in a whole lot cheaper than Kane, so if you want to opt for him, you can kind of spread the funds around. Probably won't opt for them just yet. I'll kind of look and see how they do in the fixtures tonight, and then take a look at them and see if maybe they've hit form against Barcelona. Because if they do it against Barcelona, I guess they can do it against many other clubs. So just some closing thoughts that I want to give you is on captaincy and that kind of stuff. Obviously, I would look at the Europa League games and see what's happening with those. I don't really think the Chelsea options that people are going to be opting for, which are the likes of Hazard, are going to be playing, so don't really have to worry about Chelsea. I think those players will be saved for the Liverpool fixture. But the team to note is Arsenal. They have quite a tough game against Napoli. You can see a full strength squad being played there, so please monitor that game. And then obviously tonight with the Man United options if you are opting for them. Lastly, on captaincy, it seems to be, in my previous video, I kind of was set on Kane, but now with Kane being out, it's been thrown up in the air a little bit. A lot of people are talking about Duffy captaincy. I don't know, it just feels weird for me captaining a defender, even if they do have a double game week. But then if you look at the other options, you kind of have a Spurs side where you don't really know who's going to be rotated. Obviously, it's a great result they received against City last night, so they'll be looking to carry on that form in the Champions League. But then again, they can't lose that top 4 spot for the Champions League next season. So I can kind of see Son playing, maybe getting some limited minutes, but in terms of other options, they're not that many. I guess you could opt for a Man City option, but they always are not rotation proof. Could opt for a Liverpool option if you have Mane or Salah. They do have a home fixture, which is great. It's just not great against Chelsea. But otherwise, it seems that all signs are pointing towards Duffy. That will definitely be an interesting pick and cause some nice stories at the end of the game week if he does pull off a massive score or he ends up scoring 3 own goals. So captaincy's still up in the air for me at the moment. Can't really settle on one decision. Please leave any comments down below if you do have any suggestions for upcoming videos, or just have some questions about your fantasy team. I will get to them in the future. But otherwise, please like the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe for more content in the future. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.